Hello, everyone. We're back with episode 4 of What's the Hype? Today we have two very special guests, two members of the Hyperion Board of Directors, Geno Nelson and Dustin Zimmerman. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Beautiful day to be on the patio.
100%. Always a nice day to be on the patio.
So we are recording this on Tuesday, October 3rd. We have a lot to talk about today, but at first I want to kind of do a get to know Geno and Dustin, and many of you may know Geno and Dustin, but talk about how long they've been a member, how long they've been on the board, committee service, and then maybe what's their most enjoyable thing about Hyperion. So Geno, why don't we start with you?
All right. I'm Geno Nelson. I've been a member out here for 15 years. First of all, it's been a pleasure to work on the House Committee with Dustin and co-chair, and along with your help, Evan. And it's just been a great experience and an exciting time for Hyperion, that's for sure. But what I enjoy out here, of course, the golf course is beautiful. It's in fantastic shape all the time. The members are fun. They're laid back. They're not stuffy. That was kind of a key thing for me. Obviously, out here too, I work out downstairs, so I enjoy the fitness area 4 times a week. We got a great fitness director, Mickey Miller, and then of course the food. We can't forget that. We got Chef David out here now, and just comes up with some very great options. And most recently, we've tried the spicy tater tots. That's the key in our house right now. So anyway,
I haven't tried those.
many things, many new friends, and over the last 15 years, it's been a great experience.
Well, thanks, Geno. Dustin, how about yourself?
Well, I joined Hyperion in 2018, so a little over 5 years ago, after spending about 6 years down at Wakanda. I moved back to my old neighborhood, the OG, the original Green Meadows, in 2018, and decided it would be much more convenient to be 5 minutes away from the clubhouse than heading down to Wakanda. And I can't say that, it's just been awesome. I've made so many friends here over the past 5 years. From a memories perspective, I mean, my first ever tournament in 2018 was the member guest tournament.
I remember
and
that tournament.
I solidified my reputation as a sandbagger. I like to say my handicap traveled well at the time, but came in and I was able to win the member guest with my friend Nick May, who has since joined as well. So many great memories on the golf course, of course. But in 2020, when COVID hit, my now wife, Sarah, she essentially moved out here during COVID from Boston. And so, again, just so thankful for the community we had here at Hyperion during that time. And really it was the only place we had to hang out, for a year or two there. And as a result of that, just made so many friends, and we enjoy, virtually all aspects of the club, especially, obviously the golf course, but the wine dinners are exceptional. The pool, we have a great time hanging out at the pool on the weekends. Probably need to spend a little more time down in the fitness center with Geno, but it's a work in progress. So, but all in all, love Hyperion. Made so many friends out here, and that's why I'm passionate about continuing that tradition and delivering for the membership.
Awesome. Well, thank you both for your comments, and it's good to do a little intro and get to know you guys. Many people, like I said, know you guys, but there's a lot of people listening that might not know you. So maybe they'll come up and say hello and thank you for your service on the board and the House Committee. So we're going to get into the Clubhouse Master Plan. There's been a lot of discussion over the last couple of years. This started back in 2021 with our revision, and this goes back to 2008. That was the last updated master plan of the clubhouse and grounds and pool. So a lot has changed since 2008, obviously. Our membership has grown. The demographics are changing. The usage of the club is probably the biggest impact. Dustin mentioned COVID. One of the benefits, if you can say a benefit from COVID, was the golf industry. And the golf industry saw a huge boom and people wanting to play golf, because that was one of the only activities you could get out and socialize with your friends during COVID. So our membership level has grown exponentially, and we have a greater need for additional and expanded amenities. So that's where we get into the Clubhouse Master Plan. I know Dustin, he's been around on the board. This is your second year on the board.
Second year on the board, yep.
So you've been an integral part on the House Committee since kind of day one when we had the original master plan. and now we have a revised master plan. So, Dustin, why don't I just kind of turn over to you? If you could kind of touch on that first master plan that we had, what did it call for? Some of the different things. I know tennis was a big topic on that. If you could just
Sure.
touch on that, I'll chime in as needed, and we'll kind of swing through that.
Yep. So yeah, I'm on year 2 of the board of my 3-year service, I guess, on the board. So last year when I came in, Jeff Shugart had been the House Committee Chair for I think several years, over 10 years, and he was coming off the board last year and was very excited to basically say, "Here you go, enjoy the House Committee." So, but I have really enjoyed it as well. We have an awesome committee, a lot of great people who volunteer their time. And just on a little sidebar, I would encourage anyone at Hyperion, if you want to learn more about the club or contribute to the club, but maybe don't feel like you have time to serve on the board, we have a lot of committees and are always looking for help and input through those committees. But a lot of decisions get kicked around at the committee level. That's where we feel like we can get kind of the vibe of what the membership might want on a given decision. And so if you're a member and you know anyone on a committee, by all means, offer up your thoughts and prayers. But last year when I joined the board and joined the House Committee, the membership had grown a lot, like you mentioned, during COVID. And it's one thing to serve the membership in the sports bar from a dining perspective when you have 300 members, and maybe not all of them are coming up here as much because they're going elsewhere. But it's another thing when you have basically a full membership, 425, 430 members, and everybody's coming up here to hang out. So I don't know. I'm sure lots of folks experience this. I know we did. You come up on a Friday at 6 o'clock, and the place is absolutely packed. There's nowhere to sit. So you either kind of hang around for an hour, which is not all bad either. But sometimes if you're there with your family, you need to have dinner sooner than that. So you end up going somewhere else or heading back home. So, we identified last year that, we really need to add some additional dining of some sort. And some of the anecdotal feedback we'd gotten initially was from members were, it'd be nice to have a place for adults to have some casual dining. So nothing highbrow or too stuffy, still casual dining, but sometimes it'd be nice to have a place to go for date night. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of where the Clubhouse master plan kind of started to coalesce, was around that idea. And this is a family club. It will remain a family club, and we love all the kids and that creating that atmosphere for the families. But we had thought last year that it would be important to offer that opportunity for adults to kind of get away and have their own dining experience as well. So that's where it started. The original master plan, we worked with the architect, and they came up with a couple proposals, and we had initially decided that it'd be really cool to have like an open kitchen downstairs where the current fitness center is at. That, of course, would require us to move the fitness center to a different location. We thought eventually where the current cart storage is at would be a nice, big open area for a fitness center. Well, if we were going to do that, then we got to move the cart somewhere. So then we had to build a new cart shed, and where are we going to put that? Well, the only place to put that essentially is where the current tennis courts are. And at the time and historically, tennis had not been a big part of Hyperion and part of our culture. So at the time, a year and a half ago, we thought, is tennis really that important? Can we build a cart shed over there and kind of move everything around down in the basement? Well, as things progressed, number one, we heard from membership that, tennis is kind of important to us and to many of the kids' programs specifically. So, let's step back and pause on this idea for a moment and maybe rethink this. The second thing that happened was, throughout the year last year, we decided as a board to bring a survey to the membership. And so, we decided that I think it had been about 10 years since we last
10 years.
surveyed the entire membership to get their thoughts on where they'd like to see, the future of Hyperion head. And so it made sense to us to say, you know what, these plans, the Clubhouse master plan is these are some big decisions. Let's wait and get that data from the membership regarding the survey results. So to everyone who completed the survey last fall, I will just pause and say thank you for doing so. My wife and I were driving up to Dubuque to visit my parents on the Mississippi River. It's about a 3-hour drive. It took us the entire 3 hours to complete
it was
the survey.
very thorough.
So thank you for doing that. I don't know if Geno, if you want to add
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah, the kind of the history too, since I joined in 2008, is originally for a number of years, and I do commercial real estate appraisals. And one of the product types that we appraise is golf courses. The golf course industry was not very good for 2010 through about 2017 or 18. So to go through that and survive as we did, and then to see what has happened in the last couple of years is just incredible. We had record numbers of people down at the pool, record number of rounds played out on the golf course, record revenue and number of persons going through the dining area. So yeah, definitely all of this refresh is needed with expanded dining, that's for sure. One of the things too, when they were going through the original master plan, the downstairs dining area that was proposed would require a very hefty price tag on a fancy exhaust hood that would had to have been installed. And also, likely, when I talked to the city, maybe an elevator would be required.
That was
and
the big
that
one.
was going to be probably $500,000, just those two things. And we haven't remodeled a thing yet.
Yeah, haven't bought a chair
So,
or a table.
the kind of this new plan that we've going to propose here keeps everything on the one floor, doesn't disrupt the fitness area, and only minorly changes other things downstairs while providing a full refresh of the upstairs.
Yeah. Well, thanks, you guys. Dustin, you referenced the survey, and I just want to echo Dustin's comments and thank everybody for taking the time, because it was very thorough, and all the comments. We went through every single comment. We appreciate your feedback. But what are the top 3 things that we identified?
Right here, by the way.
Yeah.
These are all the comments. So
Lots of comments.
hefty.
We like comments. Dustin, why don't you just walk us through those top 3 things that we identified that the members want based on our membership survey last fall?
Yeah, so we spent a lot of time, analyzing the survey results, and the top 3 things that were very clear and by far the most important to the membership at the time were, a clubhouse refresh, new carpet, new paint, maybe new fixtures. As you said, hasn't been updated in there since 2008. It looks nice, but it's fine. But it's a little dark, it's a little dated. We've got carpet squares in the banquet area. So, interior refresh came in at as the number one thing that members would like to see, and 88% of members found that would be an important upgrade for the club to pursue. Second thing was to build out a lower patio below the current deck patio that we're sitting on. We have completed that phase 1 of that project already. We do have another phase 2 to add to the current lower patio there, but again, 87% of the membership said that it's important to have additional patio space, and so we've got a really nice lower patio already there, and we'll go ahead and finish that up hopefully here in the next year or so. Then the number three thing on the survey was additional expanded adult casual dining. So, and as you read through, I spent, hours reading through literally every comment that everybody put in the survey. And the theme that we took away from that, or that I took away and the committee took away, is that additional adult casual dining would be useful, and lots of members want that.
Mhm.
You know, there's a lot of folks, myself included, you know, who say, you know what, wife and I, spouse and I, partner and I, significant other, we're going out for dinner tonight, but we want to have a nice, you know, romantic dinner. And you're not always going to get that at the sports bar at Hyperion. And so you end up going to, you know, Greenbrier or Destination Grill,
Yeah.
and that's essentially what the comments all had to say about that. And so, you know, when you look at the top 3, you know, most important things on the survey, it's clubhouse refresh, lower patio, and expanded adult casual dining. So that's, you know, really where we as a house committee started to focus this
Yep.
year.
Well, thank you for that. So to kind of tie off of that, so that brings us into our updated master plan. So phase 1 and 2 have been approved at the board. Phase 3, 4, and 5 are still in discussions at the board, but we have active discussions going every month. Look to see some progress there here in the next few months. So phase 1, we've completed all that. That was the lower patio that Dustin referenced, phase 1, as well as the new overlook bar and grill downstairs. That has had a huge success this summer with our food and beverage operation down there. Many of you probably remember in years past we used one kitchen. It was right upstairs, the main kitchen, to run food all the way down to the pool. And you know, when you have banquets and you have sports bar activities, specifically over the lunch hour, one kitchen and 2 fryers and 1 flat top just can't handle that. So we were able to expand all that downstairs. We did see a huge increase in sales downstairs at the overlook. I know the online ordering was a big hit. You know, order on your phone. We sectioned off the pool, and then we brought the food out to you. So appreciate everybody being patient with us down there this year, but I feel like we had a really good year and a lot to build on for next year. So when we get into phase 2, this is the real exciting stuff we're going to get going in. So
Can I just make another
Yeah.
comment about the pool and the overlook and the swim grill? You know, for a couple years there, you know, mostly kind of the COVID years in 2022, last year a little bit, you know, we didn't really, as you kind of mentioned it, but we didn't have a grill down in the swim grill. And so if you made an order for food at the pool on a Saturday afternoon, that was being cooked up here in the main kitchen, along with, you know, the wedding that we're getting ready for, and all the guys or gals coming in from the golf course. So, you know, we as, you know, house committee members, board members, I certainly heard from many of my friends who hang at the pool, like, why is everything taking so long? Why is it so slow? You know, why does it take an hour to get a hot dog down at the pool? You know, so that's, you know, that was a result of, you know, not having a swim grill, and, you know, it took us, I think, over a year to get the new hood and
equipment
grill
was back-ordered.
that we ordered for the swim grill. So it's not that we weren't trying to remedy that situation, but, you know, everyone remembers how long it took for things to get here during the COVID times, and you know, we experienced that as well. So again, just to say, you know, thank you to the membership for hanging in there. You know, now that we're kind of full steam ahead at the pool, I'm excited about, you know, the future of the overlook. So
Yeah.
and hopefully everybody feels like the experience down there is much improved as a result. So
yeah, I appreciate your comments, Dustin. That's very well said. So as we get into phase 2, there's 3 different aspects of well, actually 4 different aspects of phase 2. One would be the number 1 thing on the survey would be the clubhouse refresh. So that's banquet space, hallways, greens area, and then the greens bar would be the second kind of phase of it, but it's all phased in together. We're going to turn the greens bar area into an adult-only casual dining area. Real excited about that. With adding another dining area, we're going to need to expand our upstairs kitchen slightly. We need to add a new exhaust hood in there, much smaller than the needs downstairs, as Geno mentioned. And then the 4th thing would be a temporary golf learning center. As many of you met Sarah this year, she's done a fantastic job with her programming, and we want to keep that going year-round. So we're going to take part of the lower cart barn and pull some carts out, repurpose those down at Jim's shop, and then put up a temporary simulator, and then another additional hitting bay with a Garmin unit. We'd be able to, it's not TrackMan, but it's very similar. So we're excited about that, and then look to build on that for maybe even a permanent golf learning center somewhere on the grounds here in the years to come. So the House Committee has been hard at work, especially on this interior refresh. One of the big things I do want to point out, we did close on the land sale the end of July, so that gave us some proceeds to expedite phase 2 of the master plan to include a refresh. And one of the biggest things too, as we get into more detail, but these projects I just discussed are going to be done at no extra cost to the membership. So a lot of other clubs, when they do a big project, they have to do an assessment. We did one 2 years ago for the HVAC and some additional requirements on the golf course. But the club's in a great financial place right now, and we're able to do all this with no extra cost to the membership. So, Geno, why don't I turn over to you? Why don't you just touch on where the committee's at? I know we had a meeting about a week and a half ago, board meeting last week, another committee meeting next week. Kind of touch on where we're at right now and kind of what the next few weeks look like for the committee and the board.
Sure. And again, we keep going back every meeting. We're going back to the survey. What did our members tell us? And again, 88% want the clubhouse refresh, and that's pretty much the top level of our clubhouse, and the patio, and the adding expanded dining. Another thing that's mentioned in there too is kind of redo the front entryway as well. So those are all part of it. And so we're right now we're in conversation with the architect Simonson and Associates, and what we're having a meeting coming up here this week is yet another kind of a tour of the facility, going over the concept plans that we've been delivered. We've been 3 different what they call mood boards, and so kind of selecting what our feel for the clubhouse should be. So what we're kind of thinking as going forward is kind of modernizing it just a little bit, but still retaining some of its character from its original construction. And there's some really nice features of this building that we'd like to carry through to the refresh. So it's not going to change into some sort of modern or some old type of redo either. So it's going to be kind of in the middle somewhere. But the mood boards that we got to see, and this week we'll start to see some of the materials that they'd like to show us. And so we're moving all that along and pushing forward towards a more exact. Once we get that together, then they'll put together some floor plan type of things and some video so you can see some what it would be like. Yeah, and those renderings will show us, kind of get an idea of what really will be the result of our efforts, and along with that will eventually become the more precise cost estimates.
Mm-hmm.
So I think next week they're coming out to we, like you said, Geno, we kind of looked at what they called mood boards, and that gives you kind of an idea of what style we might be looking at. For example, one of them was mid-century modern. Another one was, kind of traditional, which is, traditional country, what most country clubs look like. And then there was what they called transitional, kind of right, I would consider in between. It's modern, but it's not, mid-century modern.
Mm-hmm.
But as you mentioned, there's some cool stuff with the current clubhouse, like the vaulted ceilings in the banquet space, with the wood beams up there. Like, that's kind of a unique, cool feature that we want to retain. But the track lighting, it might be time to retire the track lighting and try to get some.
I like the sconces.
Yeah. So again, the dark gray carpet squares. Maybe we have an opportunity to make it a little brighter, a little lighter in there. So we're excited about where we're going. The committee ended up recommending kind of the more transitional look, kind of in between the two. Not traditional, but also not crazy mid-century modern.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, the club itself is somewhat mid-century modern architecture. So let's build in a few features here and there. For example, in the bar area of the adult casual dining space, maybe we can build something that looks, brings those mid-century modern features forward without going, too far down that road. So, these are some details we're looking at. I think next week they're going to be coming out and sharing some samples with us, some finishings.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they're bringing out furniture or anything yet, but we're excited to kind of get more detailed. It's important for the club, meaning the house committee as well as the board. We're going to be trying to get this done in January.
That's our goal.
Yeah, of 2024. So when we close, for the holidays, the goal would be to reopen in February, early February.
Yep.
With a refresh clubhouse. And so that's, if you feel like we're moving a little fast on this, it's because we are, and it's because we're trying to deliver on this for next year already. And so we think we can meet that goal, but you never know what you're going to run into.
Yeah.
So
One of the concerns about that, related to that, are the supply chain issues.
yeah,
With kitchen equipment and all that, that doesn't seem to be too much of a problem. We're getting that in. But materials, just the simple things like carpet, and then we move on to tables and chairs, getting a contractor lined up to even do the work, so we need to have this done as quickly as possible in order to be able to even get close to achieving that. And there may be some chance that the construction period, in order to do all that, could get extended into February, but we're hoping that's not necessary.
yep.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, now the good news is that the committee has been talking about this for a year and a half, so it's not like we're, just coming to this
Right.
Discussion now, and
We've been hard at work.
making quick decisions. We've been thoughtful about our approach to this. For example, we had it in the budget this year to order new banquet chairs, and we decided, let's pause on that. Wait till we do, hopefully do a clubhouse refresh, and maybe order some banquet chairs that match, whatever we end up doing, in the clubhouse. So, we're moving quickly, but we've been pretty thoughtful about, what our approach should be here to present to the membership.
Yep.
Yeah, we've got some really good house committee members, and want to thank them as well, because they've been doing a lot of work. There's been lots of meetings and lots of thought, lots of conversation about how this should proceed, and they're very incremental in doing that.
Yeah, very well said, you guys. You guys provided really good input there. One thing I do want to reference, and we've referenced it a few times with both Dustin and Geno, is the survey. This, like Dustin mentioned, we're not just rushing, to spend this money and do this project. This is fact-based results that we're looking for based on the survey results that you all took last fall. So it's really good to have that information. Dustin mentioned it'd been 10 years, and the demographics has changed, and the additional and expanded amenities that are needed, that has changed as well. So talk about next steps here. We do have a meeting next week with our architect, and then probably a follow-up house committee meeting the week after. So we've got a lot of things here, and one thing we want to point out, so we had the September board meeting last week, and the board did approve, pending membership approval, which I'm going to get into that, a spend of up to $1.3 million on phase 2 of the Clubhouse Master Plan. So membership approval is really, really important here, and we're going to ask for your all's approval here beginning of November. We'll get the date set out for the special meeting here in the next couple weeks. We're going to ask you to approve the $1.3 million to be spent on phase 2 of the Clubhouse Master Plan. So we'll have a lot of information coming your way here over the next month or so, different videos, maybe an additional podcast. And one thing I do want to reference is our website, hfcmasterplan.com. That has all the information on phase 2. We're going to get the mood boards, the transitional and the mid-century. That'll be up there here this week, so you can kind of get a feel for what the committee is looking at, as we go through this refresh, as well as the material samples once we get those after the committee reviews those. So again, that membership approval is so important. With how our articles of incorporation read, we have to go before the membership if we want to spend this amount of money. But the board did approve spend of up to $1.3 million, and we're really excited about that. We're confident that amount, we can come under that amount when we do that project.
That's what I was going to say. Is now, we're not hoping to spend $1.3 million.
Yeah.
We're hoping to spend less than that.
Sure.
I think one thing that I sometimes have to remind my friends of is, Geno and I are members as well. Everyone who's on the board are also members. So, it's important to us to do a good job on a project like this, to really add a lot of value to the club and to the members, but at the same time be fiscally responsible in how we do that.
Yeah.
We're vested, financially in the club just like every other member is, so we don't take these decisions lightly. But we do think it's important to take this opportunity with the land sale proceeds and the financial position that the club is in. It's a unique opportunity for the club to really invest back in itself and kind of position the club for the next 20 years. And so we think this is the right time to do it. So I would ask the membership, if you're excited about these plans, and according to the survey, many of you are excited about this. When we get that the special meeting date out there, we will be asking for you to come to the club and vote that day. And it's important that you do that because we want to hear from you. At the end of the day, we're going to do what the club membership wants us to do. But just some additional thoughts on that.
And the other thing is Dustin and I are just members, and Evan's a general manager of the club. There will be a general contractor, professional that manages the project. So we're not making the day-to-day decisions on that.
Which is a really good thing.
That's
in my
probably
case.
a really
Yeah.
good thing. I've got experience in the industry, but not like that.
Yeah. Well, guys, this has been really, really good. I think we've touched a lot of different topics. Is there anything else you want to touch on before we wrap episode 4 up? And
I would just say that I'm extremely excited and proud of the work the House Committee has done and that the board has done to this point. I think members should feel confident in knowing that we're always putting their interest at the forefront. Of course, each of us has our own opinions, but if me or Geno or anyone else on the board, every time we make recommendations or make decisions, it's, is this what's best for the club? Is this what's best today? And is this what's best, for the future of Hyperion? And, I believe strongly that this is a unique opportunity. We have the fiscal capabilities to be able to complete a project like this without asking the membership for additional funds right now. So I think it's an awesome project to be working on, and could look totally different a year from now around here, and I'm pretty pumped about that.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity for the club. I think it's been 15 years in the making for our last refresh. We've puttied and painted here and there around the clubhouse, but even in your own houses, you probably remodel that every 7 or 8 years. Now we've gone twice as long without doing that, so we're definitely due. And I think it's going to be very impactful and very exciting for the members.
Well, thanks, guys. And just one thing I want to close too. This is such an exciting time as we look ahead to, hopefully completing this project here in the winter. One thing we do talk about is called the Hyperion Experience. That you have a Hyperion experiences all over the different club, all over different parts of the club. Excuse me. But one thing that I think about this project is this enhances the Hyperion experience with an updated banquet area with a refresh in there, as well as that adult-only dining room, which will be so beneficial to our food and beverage operation, and like I said, enhance that experience. So, again, thank you all for listening. I know we've been going for a while, but we wanted to be thorough and get their information out to you. Again, I just want to reference hfcmasterplan.com. That's got all the details, as well as look for additional communication on the November special meeting here in the coming week.
Thank you.
Thank you.